The future of Ukraine is in our union. The future of the Western Balkans is in our union. The future of Moldova is in our union.
That was Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, during her 2023 State of the European Union address. This annual speech outlines the EU's achievements and sets the agenda for the upcoming year. And one thing is clear. The European Union President wants a bigger European Union, from 27 member states to over 30 member states.
We need to set out a vision for a successful enlargement. A union complete with over 500 million people living in a free, democratic, and prosperous union. A union complete with young people who can live, study, and work in freedom.
EU enlargement was not the president's sole focus. She outlined 5 more pillars for the EU to prioritize, leading up to next year's elections and beyond. And this video will give you all the highlights. So let's dive into the first pillar, EU enlargement. The president mentioned plans to include the 5 Western Balkan states, Ukraine and Moldova. She gave a nod to Georgia too, but completely left out Turkey. Bringing in 7 new members is tricky, and some say the EU needs to change some rules first. However, the president stated,
"But we cannot and we should not wait for treaty change to move ahead with enlargement. A union fit for enlargement can be achieved faster. That means answering practical questions about how a union of over 30 countries will work in practice."
Simply put, a treaty change tweaks the main rules of the European Union. As more countries join, a member's veto vote might become unworkable, as just one country has the power to block decisions for the entire Union. Therefore, at EU Made Simple, we're skeptical about EU enlargement without adequate treaty change. We don't want 30-plus EU member states with a veto vote, as then the EU will struggle to move forward. But we've dedicated an entire video to this topic, linked above. As for the passport-free Schengen area, the president had good news for our Romanian and Bulgarian friends.
Bulgaria and Romania are part of our Schengen area. Let us finally bring them in without any more delay.
While the Netherlands and Austria previously opposed Romania and Bulgaria's entry, support from EU leaders and the parliament could sway the vote in their favor this year. The second pillar is the European Green Deal.
And we saw the chaos and carnage of extreme weather from Slovenia to Bulgaria and right across our union. This is the reality of a boiling planet. The European Green Deal was born out of this necessity to protect our planet.
The Green Deal, introduced in 2019, is all about making Europe greener by 2050. Von der Leyen talked about big steps like the Net Zero Industry Act and the Critical Raw Materials Act. And here's something cool she shared too. In just 5 years, Europe went from 0 to 38 clean steel factories. She also boasted that Europe's spending on clean hydrogen tops China and the US combined.
As we enter the next phase of the European Green Deal, one thing will never change. We will keep supporting European industry throughout this transition. They can rely on that.
It gets a bit unclear at this point. What exactly is the next phase? Von der Leyen listed several measures, but she didn't dive deep into her specific proposals. Still, her vision is clear. Whether it's wind, steel, batteries, or electric vehicles, she wants the future of the clean tech industry to be rooted in Europe. She also emphasized that the climate agenda can spur economic growth, ushering us into our third pillar: economy, industry, and competitiveness.
I see 3 major economic challenges for our industry in the year ahead: labor and skill challenges, inflation, and making business easier for our companies.
She pointed out some worrying stats. 74% of small to medium businesses have skill shortages. 2/3 of companies seek IT specialists, while 8 million young people are outside employment, education, or training. She also mentioned concerns about the cost of living crisis, unnecessary EU bureaucracy, and unfair competition from abroad. While she didn't give clear solutions for the labor and inflation issues, she did have suggestions on how to improve the business environment. One idea is to reduce the amount of paperwork companies need to send to the EU by 25%. Another is fair competition.
But competition is only true as long as it is fair. Take the electric vehicle sector. It is a crucial industry for the clean economy with a huge potential in Europe. But global markets are now flooded with cheaper Chinese electric cars. And their price is kept artificially low by huge state subsidies. This is distorting our market. And as we do not accept this distortion from the inside in our market, we do not accept this from the outside.
Basically, she is saying that some non-EU countries are making their products cheaper through subsidies, leading to unfair competition against European goods. Even though there are claims that the US is doing something similar, she's mainly worried about cheap Chinese electric cars. Therefore, she proposed an investigation into subsidies from China, saying,
Europe is open to competition, but not for a race to the bottom. We must defend ourselves against unfair practices.
Interestingly, Macron said something similar only a couple of months ago. See the video linked above. Lastly, the president turned her attention to trade, referencing the new India to Europe economic corridor announced at the G20 in Delhi. This initiative promises a trade route between India, the Middle East, and Europe that's 40% faster. In our eyes, this is a clear response to China's Belt and Road Initiative, aiming to create a more interconnected trade network globally. She also stressed the need to wrap up trade agreements with Mercosur, Mexico, and Australia by the end of the year. Next up is Pillar 4, migration. Last year, the EU received almost 1 million asylum applications, the highest figure since 2016. And after years of discussion, von der Leyen finally wants an EU-wide solution.
Ladies and gentlemen, our work on migration is based on the conviction that unity is definitely within reach. An agreement on the pact has never been so close. Parliament and the Council now have a historic opportunity to get this over the line. Let us show that Europe can manage migration effectively and with compassion. Let us get this work done.
Since 2016, the European Union has grappled with establishing a unified approach to immigration. The Migration and Asylum Act, now on the brink of approval, aims to address this. The pact proposes to streamline asylum procedures with enhanced flexibility to return denied applicants. Furthermore, it introduces a shared responsibility mechanism among EU nations. Under this approach, countries have the option of either accepting a specified number of migrants annually or contributing to a joint EU fund. If this pact gets the green light from both the European Parliament and the Council, it could change how Europe handles migrants. But countries like Hungary and Poland might not be on board. The EU president also encouraged more agreements with third-party countries, citing the deal with Tunisia as an example. This arrangement committed 105 million euros from the EU to combat irregular migration, and another 600 million euros in investments to strengthen Tunisia's economy. Then we have Pillar 5, Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Honourable members, we will be at Ukraine's side every step of the way, for as long as it takes. Since the start of the war, 4 million Ukrainians have found refuge in our union. And I want to say to them that they are as welcome now as they were in those fateful first weeks.
The European Union provides temporary protection to Ukrainians fleeing the conflict, granting them residency, job access, healthcare, and education for their children. With this measure ending in March 2024, the European Commission proposes an extension. Furthermore, an additional 50 billion euros is proposed for a 4-year period to support investments and reforms in Ukraine, aiming to foster a modern and thriving nation. Lastly, we have Pillar 6, keeping AI in check. Von der Leyen expressed urgent concern about the rapid development of AI and its potential military and civilian uses. She emphasized the limited time to responsibly regulate this technology. To address AI threats, she suggested a strategy focusing on boundaries, governance, and directing innovation. For example, the EU AI Act, which imposes market rules on AI-powered systems according to their potential risk for society. Here's what we think. We appreciate the 6 pillars that Ursula von der Leyen highlighted. We find Pillar 1 very interesting, From a geopolitical standpoint, it's essential to offer our neighbors a clear path to membership before they start aligning towards our more autocratic competitors. But it's crucial that the EU undergoes reforms before new members join. Similarly, these members need to be ready to join. Also, it is worth noting that von der Leyen mentioned some of these issues last year, yet we see no concrete plans with set timelines. But what is your favorite pillar? Let us know in the comments, and please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Until next time.